Okay, please can you see my screen? Please can you see my screen?
No. No, Figo, we cannot.
Okay, come in. How about now?
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, now we can clearly see your screen.
Okay. Um, let me just make it. Okay, I believe you can see clearly now. So thank you very much for having me again. It's a pleasure to be talking about design, and the topic is beyond aesthetics, the functionality of design. Okay, can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I don't know if admin can help me from their end. I'm having troubles with removing this. Okay, all right. Thank you very much again. My name is Fego Onowari. It's not Fego, it's pronounced as Fego. A lot of times people often mispronounce my name, but it's fine. I get used to that a lot. I'm a brand identity designer. I'm also a vector illustrator. Um, my other interests would include sustainability development. That's one of the things that I am very much interested in. So if I am not designing, I'm very much doing something related to sustainability development. So I'll just talk about my design journey. My design journey started sometime in 2020, thereabout. That was COVID year. And I started with JCI, Junior Chambers International. There was a training going on. And I started using Canva. And I think it was about 5 weeks training. And I was one of the best two students. From there, I saw an opportunity in Bincom for an internship. And I registered for it. And I was one of the people that participated. I think we were about five then. It was about 2 to 3 months internship. Moving on from there, I met my mentor, and I would say that that is where growth for me started, growth for me began. And from there, I've been able to work with other brands. I've been able to work with Serene Services, which I am presently a brand identity designer for. I also freelance, and then I'm presently working actively on my personal brand on LinkedIn. So it will be injustice for me not to say happy Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody. So if you've received a Valentine's present today, a gift today, please put a love emoji in the comments. I would love to see that. And if you've not, just put any emoji. God will help all of us together. So I'm in the comment section waiting. Okay, I can see some emojis rolling in. In case you did not hear what I said, I'll just repeat it again. If you received Valentine gifts today, you've received anything at all, please put a love emoji. If you've not, put any emoji. Don't worry, we are in this together. Okay, so happy Valentine's Day, everyone. So I'll just move down to the topic straight away. Beyond aesthetics, the functionality of design. When we talk about design, when you hear the word design, a lot of things come to mind. A whole lot of things come to mind. One thing that can come to mind is attraction. You see a design and then you are attracted to it. It just looks fine, but beyond a design being able to grab the attention of people, it has to be clear, it has to be meaningful, it has to be useful. So design is actually beyond attraction. Another thing too, when people look at design, is they see colors and they're like, oh, this color is fine, this color is beautiful. While color play a very useful role in design, colors also to design. So it means that a bad website with perfect colors can still frustrate its users. A bad website with perfect colors, good colors, can still frustrate its users. So it means design goes beyond colors. Even though color is an intrinsic part of design, design actually goes beyond colors. Another thing too is visual trend. In our world today, everybody is jumping on one trend or the other. And while it's good to stay modern, it's good to, jump on trends and all. But as a brand identity designer, a brand identity that is built on trends will eventually look outdated in few years, and then the brand would have to rebrand again and again and again. So it means that design is beyond visual trends. Design is also way beyond complexity. In fact, many times we know that design is not even complexity at all. More details doesn't mean a design is good. More details doesn't mean better design. In fact, we've often heard the statement, less is more. So design is beyond all these things. So the question is, what exactly is design? Design is actually problem solving. That is design. Design is problem solving. That is, despite the fact that you are a graphic designer, you can be a UI UX designer, you're a brand identity designer. In fact, you're an interior designer, architectural designer, you are a problem solver. So you must first of all approach design with the mindset of being a problem solver before anything else. You're a problem solver. You're there to solve a problem. A client walks up to you and says, oh, they want a design for this, they want a design for that. The reason they are walking up to you, the reason they are telling you that, is because they believe that you are well capable of handling their design or giving them a design solution. So you must see yourself as a problem solver. So you are a problem solver. So it means that for us as designers, we must see design beyond pushing pixels. We must see design beyond, just putting one rectangle, one circle together, and then boom, I get a design. No, you must see design beyond that. You must see that you're a problem solver whenever you encounter a design issue, a design challenge. And when you see yourself from that standpoint of being a problem solver, when you even get feedbacks from people, you won't feel intimidated, or you won't feel, maybe they don't like my design, or you won't feel too attached to your design. Why? Because you are solving a problem. So you must look at it from that point of view. You must look at it from that point of view. So design simplifies complexity. That's what design does. It simplifies complexity. How does design solve problem? It simplifies complexity in that, so in our world today, people have a very low attention span. So when they look at a design, they are just looking at, what's the call to action here? What exactly am I going to do here? If your design is not giving that, they walk away. This is a very perfect example. Now, let's imagine you are speaking with a client, or you want to send a proposal to stakeholders, giving them a block of text. So nobody is ready to sit down and read a block of text. You have to put it in like an infographic so that they can better understand what you are talking about. So you can see that design takes it from this particular block of text down to an infographic, a data structured information where people can see, they can understand. So in seeing this, it means that I am actually solving a problem. I'm solving a problem for my audience. So design also builds trust and credibility. A brand that doesn't really appreciate design and just mixes different colors, yellow today, black tomorrow, purple next tomorrow, will be less trusted than a brand that has just maybe one particular color or has one brand identity and sticks to it throughout. So design builds trust, design builds credibility. Now, what's the point of saying all these things? The point is for you as a designer to see yourself as a problem solver. So design must be purposeful. It's not just about being aesthetically pleasing, about being fine. No, it must be purposeful. There must be a purpose. So I'm a graphic designer. I have been given a task to do this and to do that. I must approach it with a problem solving skill. That is how I must see it. That is how I must approach any design. I'm a UI UX designer. I am told to design a landing page. I must approach it with that mindset. So, a beautiful chair that is uncomfortable is a bad design. Look at this picture as an example. Despite the fact that this picture looks beautiful, the chair looks nice, it looks great. But then if I have to do a lot of gymnastics to get my butt inside this chair, then it's a bad design. So despite the fact that it is beautiful, it is nice, it looks good, it looks great, it is still a bad design. Or let's take for an example, you walk into a restaurant and you're given a menu by the waiter, a menu list, and you are not able to read through the prices. You're not even able to see what they are selling, what they are offering to you. That is a bad design because you're squinting your eyes. The next time, you're not going to go there. So it means that design gives each and every person an experience. Design gives people an experience. So it's experience. So in here, I wrote design shapes how people interact with the world. It shapes how people interact with the world. So you must see design as not just something I put on a screen, not just rectangles and shapes and images and typography. That's there. That's very important. But we must also see design even in our everyday experiences, our everyday work. So you're living here where you are right now, and then you are heading somewhere. Maybe you try to open the door and you see that the door was quite hard to open. That's actually an experience for you. So we must actually be in the moment in our everyday life. Take note, experience of all those things that you keep going through. So we'll be looking very quickly now at when design failed. So just in history of time, when design failed, this is a perfect example. I don't know if you can see my screen very well. Please, can you confirm that you can still see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, beautiful.
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so this is a perfect example. I'll use this image, the first image. Perfect example. Use this image. I'll use this image as an example. Now, there is EAT here, and then there's Jessica's family. If I'm passing through this restaurant, I am seeing it's Jessica's family. I am not going to eat Jessica's family. I'm going to pass. I'm sure that was not what the designer had in mind, right? But this is what we to pass. So it means that this is a bad design. It has failed. Let's move to the next one, the second image. I think this is supposed to be art space. So F art space. Perhaps the person's name is, let's say, Farida. So Farida standing for F and then art space. But then this is a failed job because what I'm seeing here is fat space, and you don't want to create a space for people to come and fat. So this is a failed design. Okay, now let's move to the next one. We see massage therapist. But if you read it well, before reading it well, if you just look at it, the E and the R, the kerning seem to be wrong. There's something wrong going on here. So if I'm just going to glance through, what I'm going to see is massage the rapist. So it means that I must be careful. I must be careful. Here we have men's boxers, but we have 3 spaces for legs. I don't understand. What exactly are we trying to do? Are we improving or not? So it means that we must see design as an experience more than just pushing pixels together. This is another example of a chair, right? Another example of a chair. Nobody can sit on this. How it's beautiful, but then it's not really a good experience. It's not. This is another example. This is a toilet, right? A toilet, and then we have the tissue roll here. I must be an elastic man to drag my hand from this place down to the tissue. So we can see that design is actually in our everyday experience, not just Figma, not just Photoshop, not just Illustrator, literally in everything. So I must see design as problem solving. I am solving a problem. So if I'm made to build a toilet, I'm going to put a lot of things in mind. I'm not just going to, oh, this space looks good for putting a tissue roll. Let me just hang the tissue here. No, because I must consider the user's experience. So a good design can be aesthetically pleasing and can also be functional. We can have the best of both worlds. We don't just have to stick to, oh, it's just aesthetically pleasing and then it doesn't solve any problem. It's just solving a problem and then it's not aesthetically pleasing. So it can actually be both. You can have a design that is aesthetically pleasing. You can also have a design that solves problems, it's functional. So this is a perfect example. This is a Nigerianism, the Nigerianism Valentine Drive happening today. Now, it's an NGO and they're very much involved in donating blood. From this design, you can see blood here. From this design, you can also see love here and love here, just showing you the entire theme of what it is talking about. So when I look at it, I can easily tell that, okay, this is functional. This is problem solving. Let's move to the next one. The next one is a debate competition. Already this image, has shown me that, okay, there's something going on here, a mic, and I'm seeing Duam's debate competition. It tells the story. So a design way beyond just being aesthetically pleasing, way beyond just being beautiful to the eyes, must tell a story. It must tell your brand story. So based on everything so far, what exactly is design? Design is a strategic tool. It's a strategic tool that improves functionality. It improves communication. It improves brand, your business story, your brand story, and then it improves human experience so far. So it means that every time I am approached with, having to do a design, I must see it as an opportunity to solve a problem, as an opportunity to tell a story, as an opportunity to give people, to give users a good experience, as an opportunity to communicate, and as an opportunity to be functional. So on that note, I think I am done with my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Fego. Thank you very, very much for that. So does anyone have any question regarding what we just heard, what we were just enlightened on? Anyone, please feel free to.
I have one.
Yes, please go ahead, Alex.
Hiya. Great presentation, thank you. I have one question. You said something about at the start about it being for an audience. So I jotted something down. So I thought if you could elaborate on that, because it seemed to kind of be a good place where I might be able to change my design thinking. But for design thinking, how would you introduce your designs for being for an audience rather than, for a project or a submission?
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I need to get the question very well.
At the start of nearer the start of the presentation, you said it would be for an audience. Kind of tick something in my brain to kind of think of something different ways. For me at the moment, it's kind of very project based, but the design thinking, how would you introduce the thinking of this being more of an audience?
Okay, I believe your question is towards design thinking. Am I right?
Yeah, how would you kind of introduce it being for an audience more?
Okay, when it comes to design thinking, one of the things that I do, I'm a brand identity designer. So when I'm approached with, when a client or when somebody asks me, oh, I need you to do this particular design for me. This is what I want, my brand, I need a rebranding and all of that. So the first thing I do when I get the brief is that I make my research, because research is one of the most important things when it comes to design. research. Research is like paramount. You can't deliver effectively, especially when it comes to brand identity design. And I believe it's the same for UI UX, and it's the same for any other design aspect. So I first of all do my research. I am able to look for, based on the brief and based on the questions I have asked, that would be on maybe the delivery call. Based on that, I'm able to do my maybe competitor analysis and just see what other brands, like the brand I'm working with, what they do. Now, once I do my research, once I'm able to put all that together, I'm going to be talking from a brand identity aspect. I put together a mood board, something that is very similar to what I have researched about. I put together a mood board, and then I forward it to the clients. Then we have a discussion. I can have 2 different mood boards just for variety's sake. And sometimes I can have one, especially if I am very persuaded about what I have done so far. Now, when we have a discussion, we finalize on word, and then I go ahead. Now, in going ahead, I like to start with sketches. I like to start with sketches because I am going to be rebranding from scratch, or I am going to be starting let's say it's a new brand, I'm going to be starting from scratch. So I start with sketches, and then one of the things that I also do to draw inspiration is that beyond just going on Pinterest and beyond going on Instagram to get inspiration, I like to talk to people, and I like to look at my environment. I believe that you can get the best inspiration from looking around you. So I do that, and that has helped me in my process of designing. And from there, I move on to the intricate part of the brand, and I deliver the work. So I hope that answers your question. I'm not sure it does, but let me know.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that question, Alex. Does anyone else have anything they would like to ask Ms. Fego before we go ahead? Anyone, please feel free. If you do not want to unmute, you could always just send your message in the chat box. Okay, while we wait, I have a question myself. It is more of a, let's say, soft question. So we've agreed that a design must be functional, must be effective, no matter how beautiful like it is. But my question is now, obviously, your design could all be very functional, but not look good. So my question comes down to this: how do you suggest like maintaining that balance? Do you believe there is a side of design that we should focus more on, whether the aesthetic look or the functionality? Do you think we should focus on one end, or do you think we should make sure that they are perfectly in balance?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. First of all, I would say that it is possible, based on, even I think I also mentioned it so in my slide, that it is possible for a design to be aesthetically pleasing, and it is also possible for it to be functional together. Now, possibilities are also that your design can be functional and yet not aesthetically pleasing. So how do we go about that? It goes back to the basics, basically. The basics. Your tools, go back to your tools, how you use your tools, go back to looking at aesthetically pleasing designs and how they just did it. Because to get better at something is just by practice. And that's the honest truth, is by practice, by doing it consistently. And by consistently, consistently can mean, okay, I just look through a design today for like 5 minutes and then I practice it. Because it's not just looking through the design. Maybe you go on Pinterest and you just check, oh, UI designs, blah, blah, blah. And then you just see it, and that's the end. It doesn't end there. There's something you have to do. You have to practice. So when I see a design, I see that, oh, this design looks good, looks fine, it is great. Let me see if I can replicate that, and from replicating it, then you now innovate, because you can't innovate. By innovation, I mean you bring something new from it. You can't innovate what you haven't replicated. So you replicate, and you don't replicate to now maybe post on social media as your work, because it's not your work. You got the idea from someone else. So when you replicate, you then innovate. So my point is that go back to the basics. It's the basics. It's simply in the basics. The color fundamentals, the hierarchy, typography, because typography for me as a brand identity designer is like a very key part of design. In fact, in any design, basically, typography is key. So many times it's just something little that is missing. I can remember when I was having issues one time about last 2 years. I was having issues in just getting my design together. And I asked my mentor, and there was something that he said. He said, look, Fego, you are just one tutorial and one practice away from getting this good, because I showed him a design that I really liked. And then I was like, why can't my design be as fine as this? And then he said, look, you are just one tutorial and one practice away from getting this good. So it's practice. Nobody gets good the moment you start designing. No, nobody gets good. It's practice. So if you feel your designs are functional enough, they can when it comes to functionality and problem solving, they are good enough, they are okay, that's fine. Then you can work on your aesthetics by doing you don't need to re-innovate the wheel, right? Do what other people are doing. When you do that, then from there, if you're able to replicate perfectly, from there you innovate. So I think it comes by practice. And like I said earlier, it is possible to balance the two. It's possible to balance the two, can work together. Now, if I were to pick one, I would rather pick a functional design than an aesthetically pleasing design. If you take the example of maybe the chair, I'm somebody that I'm not going to spend my money buying a good looking chair only for it to be a decoration in my apartment. No, I am going to sit on it. I have got to use it. So I can't be doing plenty gymnastics just to get into, in fact, that chair cannot even fit a baby, talk less of an adult. So it must be functional, and then it can also be aesthetically pleasing. So it is possible to balance the two together. But if I were to pick one, I'd definitely pick functional over aesthetically pleasing. But again, it is possible. We can have the best of both worlds. So I believe so strongly. Thank you. I hope I answered that question.
Yes, you did. You did. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. So if there are no further questions for Ms. Fego from the rest of the room, we will move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Ms. Sophia Lawal. She's a graphic and UI UX designer, currently the team lead of the design team at Bincom Dev Center. Speaking from experience, she has a very solid foundation when it comes to the basics of design, and I hope we'll be alert to get as much information from her as possible. So, Sophia, please, you can go ahead. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Dasola. I appreciate that welcome. Yeah, thank you. My name is Lawal Sophia Salabisi. I'm also a UI designer, a graphic designer also. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
It is coming up now.
Okay.
Yes, it is on now.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Fego. I appreciate the presentation. It was nice and also thank you. So I'll also be talking about beyond aesthetics. the functionality of design, and she has said a lot. But in another aspect, there are more to it. So I'll also be talking about those aspects that she did not mention. Yeah. So we all know that it's not only about designing. It's not only about designing. It's not only about bringing different things together, as she also mentioned. Maybe bringing elements, bringing colors, or maybe you have a particular layout that you want to. It's not only about that, and it's not only about how your design looks. Maybe the way it's attractive to users or attractive to you as a designer. It's not only about that, and it also work around functionality. The more your design is more function, and the more it is more attractive, it helps users to understand better, and you don't want to allow users to leave your design, your product. So maybe you are designing for a website, or you are designing for a mobile app, or you are designing for a poster, or even a product packaging. Everything is needs to serve their own purpose, and it must be beyond the way it looks. So it should also solve a problem, guide users, and make life easier. You don't want to frustrate your users. You don't want them to be confusing. Okay, where should I go next? What is this? Or maybe you are designing, you are using, maybe you design a flyer, and we did not understand what's the message you're passing to us. Maybe in terms of the way you use your color, in terms of color contrast, maybe the typography that you use, your typeface is not readable. All these things matters a lot. So we'll be going deeper into it. So I just use this illustration to just show us in a real life. So I'll have some questions here, like just one question from the audience. Now you are going on a way and you want to navigate. Do you understand with maybe you see this kind of road sign or this kind of road sign, and be able to know the way to pass, or because we are having different things and everything is confusing. One question, will you understand where to go to? Anybody can ask, can answer the question.
Yeah, there's no way to do that. It's just random pointing in every direction.
Yeah. So that way we will not understand, because and that is how it also work in design. If we can't understand what your design is saying, or what direction is giving, or the information is passing, it is not a good design, and there is no functionality too in that design. So moving on to another thing is what does functional design means? So and functional design ensures that a product or visual is not only attractive, but also usable. It must be usable. It must be accessible. We don't want only a particular audience to be able to use a product. No, we want all disabled and able people to use it. It must be efficient. Imagine a chair that looks stunning, but is like you can't sit down on it comfortable. And also, I know that she also mentioned she showed us some image like that too. So no matter how stylish it is, if it fails to serve its purpose, it's a bad design. So now this is now our what we see every day, not about maybe designing, using Corridor, using Figma. No, we're talking about what we see, the environment, our environment now. If it is the chair that you have at home is not okay, it's not balanced, like you can't sleep on it, or you can't sit down on it very well, that is a very bad design from the person, from the furniture that did it. And also the same applies to digital products, marketing materials, and even everyday objects. So I just mentioned that. So it's not only about design, it's in everywhere, every industries. If I can't get what I need, so how will I be able to use it? So one of the things I need to know. So this is another image. It's clear. The first one is beautiful, nice, but can someone sit down on it comfortable? The answer is no. But the second one is easy, like I can sit down very well, comfortable, and that is a good design. So don't just design because of it is beautiful or because it is fine. The way I'm designing it, I love it. No, you are not the one that is using it. It's your audience, it's your users that is using it. So design it the way that it will be easy for them and it will not be confusing. So it also goes to anything around us. And another thing you need to know is the key aspects of functionality design. We've mentioned it before, and usability. One of it is usability. The design should make tasks easy, not harder. You have a project now and you are unable to, your user is able to use it. It's not easy for them to navigate through. Maybe a flyer, I do not understand what is in the flyer. It's not taking me to where I want. I'm just seeing different things on it. I don't understand. It's very hard for the user to know what it is there. That way, there is no, that product or that design does not have any function that is doing. As far as I do not understand what is in your design or what you have, there's nothing there. It's not easy for me to use. I don't understand what is inside. So another thing is clarity. Users should understand the message or function instantly. That's how I should say it. Immediately I see something like this, you know that content and image work in hand together. If you are using image for your content, the image should correlate. They should be the same thing. There should not be difference in one. Like they should be the same. They should speak the same message. So you'll not be using that image to confuse your users. And instant when they see the image, they should know what the content is all about. That is making the image more functioning in your design. Likewise, your message, the way you arrange your layout, the way you bring everything up, color, are you able to use normal color contrast? Are you able to use um do you have accessibility? Can they see it clearly? Color contrast, can they be able to read it? Is it readable? All these things make sense because that's what we give them the understanding of the information that you want to pass to them. So another thing is accessibility. Good design works for everyone. So don't design for only a particular person. Design for, because in accessibility, it's not only maybe when you add some features. Color contrast too works for accessibility. If I cannot read what you put there, there is no accessibility in your design. You do not have the accessibility to it. You do not put other users in mind. So you need to put other users in mind when you are designing. Please, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. So another thing is efficiency. The user should be able to complete a task quickly without confusion. Now you have a landing page or you have flyers out, there's an event coming up and your topic, I did not see it. It's kind of, you gave me one font that is not readable. That way, it's confusing. I'll immediately I check it like this as a user, I'll just drop it. Or if it's that is there online, I'll just skip and leave. So everything must work in hand. So that way, in just like few seconds that your users see your design, maybe flyer or website, they know the message that you're passing to them. That's the efficient. They know the message that they're passing to them. So another thing we need to just, this one is just a illustration of what I've just explained now. And another thing we need to know is from examples now, this is what we see every day, the real life, real world examples. Um, our, we all know Google homepage. So this is it here. We all know. So you know how it looks. It's easy, simple, clean, focus. You know where to, you know when you want to look for search, you know what, it is not confusing. So that way, users that want to use Google homepage to search for anything, it will be easy for them to notice. And like what is there now, the search bar is in front and center, making it easy to use. Everybody can use it. It's not as if maybe it is one place, it's not clear, it's not. So that way, that's one of the examples of a functional design in our everyday life. Another thing is the road sign and traffic light. Imagine if you stop a stop sign and were designed with fancy, like the one I just show us now is one of the example. You did not understand, you did not know. But let's say we have just stop and it stop. We will understand that okay, you need to stop here. This is a sign. So another thing is all these things are just examples of what a functional design can be. So just to go more, instead road sign, use examples, simple bold typography. Some people does not know how to use bold typography, and it's one of the trendy things now that is on now. Bold typography. Let everything be clear. When we want to talk about hierarchy, let it show this is the first thing. First title using bold typography, then followed by the second order of the, maybe you want to use 30 for the font size, then you want to use maybe 20 for the subbody, or you want to use, so that way it differentiates them like that, so they're able to understand this is it. And also, if you want to use color, it will be able to communicate, okay, this, because color too has emotions, it has its own meaning. So if you do not forget that, you know that okay, this is it. Colors has its own meaning. So you must also add all these things to your design to make it appealing also. And also in terms of functionality, there are some things that it needs to be functioning, like, are we able to use this thing? Can we use it? So that's one of the another thing is a mobile app like Instagram and WhatsApp, just to show us the example. This app are designed for easy navigation, button are placed where other, and don't forget, for example, WhatsApp now, I use WhatsApp most times as an example because they are doing a lot of work on with their app. There's features, updates, and everything, and that way people that will be able to aware that okay, there is an update, there's another features now, you can check it. There's even a video that you can watch just to make everything easy for you to understand, and that way. So button are placed where our thumbs natural reach. And also imagine if Instagram hide the post button in an obscure place where they cannot see it, where your user cannot, maybe now you have a particular button, and or let's use a flyer, you have a call to action and it do not, and they can't see your call to action, it's not clear enough. That way, is the call to action performing its own purpose? No, because you want them um to make that click once. Okay, maybe register now is a call to action, and they could not see it because of where you put it, or the kind of the way you put it, or maybe the color you use, or maybe the font you use. It is not performing their own purpose if it do not make everything easy for your users to see on time. And so this is just the example of a big one of the examples there to show us what it is. This is the Google one, and you see that the search bar is easy to locate, and you can type in anything and easy you get what you want. So that's is simple and is easy to use. So another thing you need to also know is the balance between form and function. Great design balance aesthetics and functionality. So when Dasola has a question concerning how do you balance both, we are still coming to that, but also here I said okay, it's also in my, I mentioned about that, so we're talking about it too. And so it must be both visual appealing and easy to use. If you do not forget these two words, if you are designing, you come back and say, okay, is my design following these two things? Is it fine? Is it as in if is as is it fine? One. Number two, is it easy to use? So that's the two things that you must put in mind because you want to solve that problem. That's the two things that you must put in mind. So it's lost the if the best design strike a balance, yes. So from just little example, a well-designed website should not only look appealing, but also be easy to navigate. On websites, you have the home page and you want to perform an action. Maybe you want to click on a button, maybe sign in or sign up button on anything. It must be easy, like you must see it at once, and you must put it in a place that they will see it on time. So that way it is easy and it's also looking good. Understand? Another thing is a well-designed and aid should not only be eye-catching, but also clearly deliver the message. Your designer is fine, but it's not delivering that message. I use that as an example, like you are designing a flyer and it's not giving us that message. So it's not working. Everything must balance together. Another thing is a well-designed product should not only be stylish, but also comfortable and practical. So all those chairs I use is also one of the products that we can use to say that. So the balance is to make it beautiful and user or someone that wants to sit down on it can sit down on it perfectly. That way it's balanced. Another thing is so today is Valentine's Day, and I feel like okay, let me use the Valentine flyers to reach all of us happy Valentine's Day too. And one of the things is it's not only wishing us happy Valentine's Day, but also there is a message that this Valentine is giving, is passing to us. So you see now that I'll use these flyers to explain what I've been saying. We have happy Valentine's Day, but when you open this flyer first, there is something that your eyes is catchy, like you are seeing first, and that is sales. That sales is what they are marketing, is what they are making aware, is the message there. So if they cannot see that one first, your flyers or your design is not giving any message. So, and now there is another one, shop now. Shop now is they can see it, even though it's with something, but they can still see it and it is more readable. And you know that this thing is a call to action. So that is another way, that is how you pass a message with your beautiful designs and the functionality in it. Because what anybody that see this flyer now know that you want them, there is a sales that is going on and it is 50% off, and also you can also shop now. So it is easy, straightforward, no unnecessary information that is not required. It's not the very simple and aesthetic pleasing. So it works, it balances everything. So I hope with this flyer that I used to do the explanation, you'll be able to understand what we've been saying so far. And so this is now where that's a lot of questions. The answer is now how to apply functional design in your work. Can you see now in your work? If you are a designer, a marketer, developer, or entrepreneur, yeah, so this is just what you need to do. Know your users. Number one is any project you are working on, don't start just starting. You have to ask a lot of questions from your client, from your project manager, the person that gave that task to you. You need to know who your users are. You need to do more research. you need to, before you do all these things, you need to know, because if you're able to know the users that are working on, you will know the kind of flyers or kind of website you're bringing. So understand who you are designing for and what they need. A good design solves a specific problem. Another thing you need to know is keep it simple. Don't say because of I have this, I have content, have this, this is all this content are very informative. They are this, it's not about that. Simple design is more attractive. Like it's also because it's more attractive and it's also give you rooms to do your creativity in showing that functionality. Avoid unnecessary elements that distract from the main function. Simplicity leads to clarity. So this is, we are designers. Sometimes you may have some client that does not really understand what it is. You can let them know that, can we reduce this? Can we make this? Can we rephrase this? Can we, all these things just for your own design to pass that message, and they should be able to see the ones that is more vital. So you'll not be adding too much noise, messages that is not, and again, too much, maybe now, for example, a website that you're designing and you have long notes. How many users want to read notes? So you have to make it simple. So that's one of the things you need to also know. Test and improve. As we are designing, we need to test our work. We need to get feedbacks. There are some times that let me say this, maybe it's general, so we don't like getting feedbacks. We don't want to have feedbacks. We feel like the design we did is okay, and if anybody is giving us feedback, that person is it down shaming, or how the word that we use. So maybe it's the way maybe the person is giving us one vibes or whatever. It's not. You need feedbacks. People that they come themselves experts. You as a junior, if you are maybe a newbie, or even though not a designer, if any person, I mean, let me not use any particular person. If a designer, whatsoever level that person is, design, someone that is not a designer will say this thing is not okay. Yeah, this thing is like this. And don't forget that we had designing, maybe we did a website and we test it, we take send it to our users. Users are not designer. They are the one to test it because they are the one to use it, and they will give us feedback, and that feedback is what we used to use to improve on the design. So if the users can give you feedback and you want to improve on that product based on the feedback the user give you, why is it that a designer will now give you feedback on your work and you feel like they are talking down on your design? So it helps the design to the look and the functionality. It helps it. So because if they give you feedback, you're able to improve on it, and that's way, and also it makes sense to users that will see it also. So getting feedback from real users and refine your designs makes, so I just explained everything here because it's not only designers, so everybody. I'm a designer, but I use another person products. I'm a user there, so we are two ways. So that's one thing. And another thing is, another one of the function, how to apply function design is follow design principles. Yes, I also remember when Ms. Fego was explaining this balancing to Dasola, she mentioned all this, the tools and the likes. So one of it also is follow design principles. If you know how to use design principles, you are good to go. We know we know it, but we don't know how to implement it. That's the issue. We know it, we know that it's spacing, yes, but how do you implement it? That's the issue. If you know how to implement it, your design will be more fine. Okay, I don't want to it to be okay. So you know how to use spacing, know how to use typography, know how to use color contrast, see now, color contrast, know how to make your, so with that, to be able to give a attractive and functioning product. Because if you're able to use typography, the correct size and everything, people can see your content easy. As maybe you have header and the likes, they'll be able to see this to be is to capture them easy. Just like the one I have here. See how to apply now is more, the size is big than the other one, so it is easy for me to read and everybody to see it, and that way that's you. So know how to use design principles, and that is the basics of you starting as a designer. These are the things that you need to know. Another thing is think beyond trend. Trend comes and go, but functionality, design, just anything that is functioning will remain. Because if a user can click on a particular thing and that thing click, it's there forever. So that's that. So forget about maybe things. A lot of website now are, and they are now revamping it. It's not because of the functionality, it's because of the way it looks. So understand that and prioritize usability over flexing styles. Let your design be usable. So I just use this one to show us in terms of design principles, colors, and the way it looks simple. So don't put too much words where you're supposed to not put it. And this is what explain what I've just explained now. In conclusion, function first, beauty follows. Understand that. Design should prioritize function first, ensuring a seamless user experience. A visual appealing but ineffective design is like a car with a faulty engine. True power comes from solving real problems. So we are solving the problem. Don't forget, we designers, we are solving problems. So try to solve the problem. Going beyond aesthetic creates meaningful impact. So thank you. That's all for me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sophia, and thank you very much, Vego. Really appreciate your presence here. So I'm back again. So I would like to talk more about Become Dev Center and the services we are into in Become Dev Center. So give me a few minutes. Let me just share my screen. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen, please?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Hello.
I can see your screen.
All right. Thank you very much. So just like I said the other time, that Become Dev Center focuses on three key pillars, which is the building tech talent, enhancing tech talent, and building startups. And under these three key pillars, we have different services. So I'll be talking more about the services. So one of the service is Bincom Academy. So Bincom Academy is a Montessori approach in training participants in basic skills needed for the modern technology ecosystem. Also, we have our Bincom Tech Internship, which is designed to enable people at intermediate skills level gain mastery and expertise over a period of time. Then we have our Bacon Tech Apprenticeship. This is an industrial attachment at various skills levels to gain experience and the on-the-job training. Then we have our Bacon Tech Network, including a community event and project. Just like I said the other time, that this event we are having here is part of Bacon Tech Network. So it is geared at giving back to the community and building the tech ecosystem. They focus on informing and exposing the youth to the current technology trends and how to prepare them for the future in technology. Then we have our light space, which is it provides helpful workspace, internet to encourage collaboration and drive innovation in the startup ecosystem. We have spaces that is created and designed for various events like seminar, conferences, and get-together. So we also have our Beamcom Global Tech Program, which is a solution to launch your tech career globally. It is a 1 to 2 year program focused on three key pillars, which is learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure. So while we move to the question and answer session, I will be dropping the links to each services in the chat box. So in case you want to register for any of these services, you are free to register on each of these services. Then we also have our Emigrate Tech Visa. It helps you become globally attractive tech profile and tech-enabled businesses, and is your tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement in countries like UK, USA, Canada, France, and many more. Then we have our Beacon monitoring platform. It is structured a mentoring solution to help mentors add values to mentees for the purpose of building globally attractive tech techies. Then we have our Labs by Bacon, which is a 3 to 6 month pre-incubator program that brings together participants to build a digital technology product, which would be used by real life users. Then the last one, we have our Bacon Tech Career Coaching, which helps individuals to learn their next role faster by offering a combination of coaching, relevant on the job experience, career referencing, introduction to tech recruiters, and all through application and interview processes, and many more. Yeah, thank you once again. So we would like to move to the question and answer section while I drop the link to the services in the chat box. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that's all you can continue. Hello, Dasola.
Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you, everyone. Does anyone have question? Sorry, we're taking over from Dasola. Does anybody have question from what the two wonderful speakers said?
Please note that the questions you have would be related to the topic you spoke about today or anything related to Beacom Dev Center. Hira to be there to answer any Beacom Dev Center related questions. Okay, I think Wendy, there are no questions for anyone, so I believe we can round up. So Wendy, so you.